Alright, before I get this started, I'd like to clear up a couple things. The movie I wanted to talk about this weekend isn't quite on Max yet, even though they said it would be today. Moreover, let's just say this, that Joe Grogu does not die in sunlight, get hit up able to eat after midnight, or multiply when he's wet. That I'm very certain the Mogwai are not force sensitive either, so just to clear that up. So with that out of the way, here's another unconventional way I celebrate the season. He's in one low key, because I've always been a fan of the more unconventional kind of Christmas film, in the sense where if it's not the main focus, to me if it's set during the season, then it counts. So I mean, think less Love Actually and more stuff I've talked about before, or such as Iron Man 3, Batman Returns, the original Die Hard, and Subject Tonight. It's Joe Dante's Gremlins, which also produced by Steven Spielberg, executive produced at least, which makes it something like an honorary film from him. So, let's begin. Taking place in a small Midwestern town during the Christmas season, and a young, an up and coming banker named Billy, played by Zach Galligan, and his lover, her played by Phoebe Cates, are doing their best in a town doesn't quite appreciate their work, and by that it means that the other inhabitants that aren't directly connected to them are obnoxious at best and downright vindictive at worst, but that's okay because as the Christmas present they get early is a mysterious creature known as a Mogwai. Right? This being in Gizmo, voiced by Harry Mandel, and some surprisingly impressive puppetry still holds up quite well today. Hey, I mean, and there are three basic rules for care of one. Do not expose them bright lights, especially not sunlight, that'll kill them. Do not get them wet, which causes them to multiply, and the most key of all, do not feed them after midnight. But, as they say, rules may be broken, and chaos and hilarity ensue. This is also one of a handful of works my perception of it has changed over time and repeat viewings. And I initially didn't make it all the way through when I was younger, but over time I grew to appreciate it more and more as years went by. I and well that and living in a place where for a time where there's nothing but desert you around you in every direction and only one TV in the house is connected to satellite, you make do what you got. And as I said before, or while a lot of the characters are quite condescending, if not downright cruel in this movie, that's okay because once the gremlins start getting wet and multiplying, and then they have one midnight snack too many, and it's on where I especially like it when the miserly he old lady known as as say a Ruby Deagle play Polly Holiday, another fitting for a name for a Christmas set film, not only threatens to have Billy's dog laid down forever, the gremlins get a hold of her chairlift and send her flying out the window on it like Wile E. Coyote, because it is clear that Dante, as I talked about before, is a big fan of the Looney Tunes, and many of his films end up being like live action Looney Tunes cartoons in respects. And I mean, if you just look at some of the other characters, there's like Yosemite Sam, or Wile E. Coyote, other kinds of cartoonish antagonists that often have their plans figuratively and literally blow up in their face, and you definitely have the right mindset for this. I mean, there's even been some plushes of Bugs Bunny and Sylvester in the climactic scene in the department store, where it's actually really nice. And another parallel that actually does manage to make it more unconventional way to celebrate the season. It even has a nice little one that goes back to the classic Christmas Carol that ultimately kindness and goodwill are rewarded, and cruelty and callousness are unsustainable and, in many cases, fatal. Of course, a lot of the intensity of some of the Gremlins rampage, including the main Mogwai antagonist Stripe, voiced by and dual performance of our Man of a Thousand Voices Frank Welker, who being the original voice for Fred and Scooby-Doo, as well as voicing Megatron from Transformers multiple points, and Michael Winslow, whose mouth sounds can be seen in Spaceballs as well as Singing Police Academy, the very first one, in fact. That it was Key Calist along with Singing Temple of Doom, and that's production in the creation of PG-13 rating, which is now commonplace for films that are too intense for PG, but not intense enough for R. And yes, a lot of elements easily give away how long those came out, especially with the bit with them in the tavern where they're drinking, smoking, and playing Tempest. That is a very cool game, I'll admit. Even if a lot of the cabinets tend to be quite touchy, I haven't even seen any in real life that's not working order. Whenever that game's featured in a compilation, you bet I play it extensively. Yeah. On a budget of just $11 million, the film was one of the most successful of its year, taking in over 148 million in its original release alone, becoming a staple for decades to come, with Stripe and Gizmo continuing to make appearances in pop culture today, being one of the more unconventional but enduring parts of Warner's legacy, even showing up in the second Space Jam during the whole stampede to the stands, and also being quite prominently featured in multiverses as well. I definitely openly admit to including both of my backups, and let me tell you, given the impact this film was made, I would have been way more on board for a third one of these than I ever would have been like a second Beetlejuice. Who there's some times where I want to jump in the line, but others when I just feel like someone's about to get like a saw blade thrown at them, one that's 7 1/4 inch long, inch wide in diameter, no less. And not they also like how like the establishing shot they gave us there of the town, where everything from the Montgomery Ward, which is now defunct, to the very appropriate period Burger King and being covered in snow, and fittingly setting the scene to Christmas, Please Come Home, the a version and that is definitely one I'm most familiar with, and which is done by I believe it's on the tip of my tongue. It's in Darlene Love. Yeah, that's a classic one there. You know what I mean? It is as a song that just manages to connect you to who places and ones you love, no matter where you are. I mean, and I definitely hope that even if not every subsequent film that Dante was at the helm was a huge hit, it he definitely he always he's made sure to bring in something memorable. Oh, always. Hayes, I mean, this may not have been the intended plan I have with tonight, but as I stated before, that's the beauty of not having a set schedule. You can modify as you go, just like that. Alright, there are definitely topics I want to talk about before the year is out. I mean, I'm still working out precisely what I'm going to be doing to celebrate the season, close out this year here, but I can definitely say there's a few definite picks in my cinematic goodie bag. I mean, I've got my tickets to both Sonic 3 as well as Craven, and Sonic I could see capping off the trilogy with another hit. Craven, well, if it is going to be the last of like the SSU, it's going to be a very bonkers way to go out. I can only say that much, and I'm even going to be squeezing in the Lord of the Rings anime and movie that's coming as well. But first, I will tomorrow will be my after I look at Moana 2. That way all for now. So take care, everyone.